Hello, my name is Jaru, and today we'll be talking about Deltarune. Or, to be more precise, we'll be talking about my currently unfinished Deltarune videos. As you may have noticed, my content tends to be rather lengthy. I like to tackle huge projects, and while that makes for a really fun and satisfying experience when I complete them, they do have the downside of taking a long time to finish. And since I need to upload at least once per month, a lot of my projects have fallen by the wayside in order to make room for faster, easier content. However, that doesn't mean those projects are dead. Far from it. All of those videos are still waiting to be revisited and completed, and I know you guys are really excited for a handful of them. That brings me to the focus of today's video. My current project, the Gaster files, has taken too long to finish, and thus I won't be able to get it out this month. As such, I need to rush something out before July, but I don't really have time to pump out a proper Deltarune video, not even an easy one, so instead, we're going to do something different. Today, I'm going to be updating y'all on the status of every single unfinished Jaru Deltarune project, and since YouTube loves engagement, go ahead and let me know in the comments which project you're most interested in seeing released. Before I dive in, huge shoutouts to my patrons for their very generous support. I don't have the time to thank you properly, but just know that your support literally pays my bills and keeps me afloat. You are lifesavers. Thank you again. And without further ado, let's take a look at some Jaru Deltarune projects. Way back during my first Deltarune video, I mentioned that I wanted to do a theory in which I predicted who would fulfill Rouxls' prophecy. However, my understanding of the Deltarune world and story has changed drastically since then. As such, this particular project will need a reboot from the ground up. This was a video idea that I hinted at mostly to drive Andrew Cunningham's Discord members insane. That said, even my memes are based in reality, as I also have an unironic Deltarune topic that I want to dive into regarding Politics Bear. But I won't say any more at this time. I don't want to ruin the surprise by describing it too in depth. As for how the progress on this project is going, the answer is it's not. This one is still firmly in the conceptual stage, and while I'd love to dive into it sometime, it's likely still a long ways off. The Spamton mega-analysis was a multi-part project that began with this first video focused entirely on analyzing his character. However, the follow-up videos got delayed due to the Spamton sweepstakes not only adding a bunch of new content, but also because said sweepstakes pretty thoroughly burnt me out on Spamton. However, that doesn't mean I'm opposed to finishing this series. In fact, the next video of this project, which will focus on analyzing Hyperlink Blocked, has nearly had its script finished. With just a little more elbow grease, this is a project that could see the light of day fairly easily. Just last month, I promised to do a video ranking a bunch of popular Deltarune fan theories in a tier list. The idea with this one being that it would be an easy project that I could get out pretty quickly. However, before I could get to it, I foolishly decided to try and get a regular theory video out in the form of the Gaster files. As a result, the fan theory project got delayed. However, thankfully, this one is still primed and ready to be made any day now. I've already got a huge list of fan theories, and this particular project won't require a script. As such, you can expect this video sometime in the coming weeks. Ever since I concluded that Chris is the Deltarune version of Frisk, you've all been eager to see me put together a theory on the Deltarune version of Chara. The good news is that I am also very eager to make that video. The bad news is that this project is still very much in the concept stage at this point in time. I have a decent idea of who Chara was, or at least I've narrowed down the possibilities, but I'll still have to do a lot more analysis and theory crafting about Gaster specifically before I'll feel comfortable predicting anything about Chara. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I am much more confident in my understanding of Gaster than I am in my understanding of Deltarune Chara. This is similar to my Politics Bear project in that I made it partially as a meme, but also because I had a genuine theory along these lines. Unfortunately, I still have a fair bit of theory crafting I need to do regarding Gaster himself before I'm ready to tie in Rouxls' Kaard. As such, this project is still firmly in the conceptual stage. I cannot express how flattered I am to see so many people requesting the Chapter 2 lore playthrough. I myself would love to dive into Chapter 2 ASAP, but the main issue is that Chapter 2 has way more content than needs to be analyzed. I don't want to do a lore playthrough where I fail to discuss all the relevant information. However, the good news is that I've only really got one more project that I'd like to tackle before doing the lore playthrough, and that's my analysis of Hyperlink Blocked. Once that's done, I'm ready to go, and since it's just a simple playthrough, I can turn on the game and record it whenever I want, so you can expect this one anytime after my second Spamton video. This is a project I've been eager to tackle for quite some time, as it's all about explaining how the Dark World works. Stuff like why our characters change color, why light and dark seem to be flipped, and why we take collective battle damage are all things I'm salivating at the chance to discuss. However, sadly, this project is still in the conceptual stage. No script has yet been penned, which means we likely won't see this one for a few weeks at least. This is another massive project that I've actually gotten a little bit of work done on. The script has been partially completed, and the collection of the tropes has been partially completed as well. It's still a ways out from seeing the sun, but it's absolutely something I'd like to bring to life sooner rather than later. And with that, I do believe I've updated y'all on most of my major projects. There may be one or two other projects that I forgot to mention, but I do think I hit most of the big ones. I am sorry to not have a more lengthy and interesting video to give y'all this month, but time flies and Gaster is complicated. However, rest assured in knowing that the first entry in the Gaster Files series has already been written and recorded. I just didn't have confidence that I could rush it out before the end of June. Just hang on a little bit longer and we'll get there very soon. Thank you all again for your support, a huge shout out to my patrons, and I hope you all have an awesome summer. Like if you enjoyed the video, comment if you've got something to say, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, have a fantastic day.